So right now, something absolutely massive is happening behind the scenes. Big tech is in the middle of a spending spree on AI that is, frankly, unlike anything we've ever seen. This isn't just some new tech trend. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar bet that is actively reshaping our entire economy and, really, our future.
All right, before we get into the thick of it, just a quick and really important heads up. None of this is investment advice. We're doing this for educational purposes only, so please always do your own research.
Okay, so let's cut right to the chase. Here's the bottom line, right up front. Big tech is gearing up to spend something like $650 billion in 2026 alone. And their goal? To build something called sovereign intelligence. This is kickstarting a whole new agentic economy, and it's totally changing the investment game. It's not just about chips anymore, but about the power and infrastructure behind them. So stick around for the next 5 minutes, and we'll break down what all this means for you.
Okay, let's just start with that number. $650 billion. Let that sink in. That's the projected capital spend from just a handful of tech giants in a single year. This isn't just an investment, you guys. This is a fundamental rewiring of corporate priorities on a scale that is just mind-boggling.
So the big question is, where in the world is all this money coming from, and where is it all going? That's what we're going to get into right now, unpacking this absolutely historic capital supercycle that's fueling the great AI race.
You know, what's truly staggering when you look at this is the sheer speed of it all. See that jump from 2023 to 2024? That's what they're calling the generative AI inflection point. This isn't some gradual, steady growth. It's an absolute explosion. The spending doubles, and then it nearly doubles again into 2026 as this whole thing morphs into a data center and power supercycle.
So who's writing the biggest checks here? Well, right at the front of the pack, you've got Amazon. They're planning to spend a jaw-dropping $200 billion in 2026. And this isn't just about them wanting to lead in AI. It's a massive defensive play to protect their dominance in the cloud with AWS. Of course, Alphabet and Meta are right there with them, just pouring billions into this.
To really get a sense of the scale here, analysts are making some pretty heavy comparisons. They're saying this is like building the transcontinental railroads or the fiber optic cables during the dot-com boom. But here's the key difference. This revolution is being funded by the insane cash flows of the tech giants themselves, not a mountain of speculative debt.
All right, so let's dig a little deeper, because this isn't just about who can spend the most money. There is a very clear, very strategic endgame here. It's about owning the very idea of intelligence itself. And that brings us to this really important term, sovereign intelligence. This is the prize. It's a future where a single company controls everything, top to bottom. We're talking the custom chips, the data centers, the power plants, the AI models, and the app on your phone. The whole shebang. Complete vertical control.
Okay, so if that's the goal, total dominance, how are they actually trying to pull it off? It's a high-stakes game, and it's not just about outspending the other guy.
Well, since regulators are watching every little move, these companies are basically rewriting the corporate strategy playbook. They're using what are being called pseudo-acquisitions. Basically, they poach entire executive teams and license all the key technology from a startup. They get everything they want without any of the regulatory headaches. It's clever.
And all of this reveals this massive conflict brewing at the hardware level. On one side, you have NVIDIA, the kingmaker, right? They control something like 90% of the AI chip market. But on the other side, you have what's being called the ASIC rebellion. This is where giants like Google and Amazon are pouring billions into making their own custom chips just to break free from NVIDIA's grip and their high prices.
Okay, so we've seen the money, we've seen the strategy. Now let's talk about the world they're actually building for us, this new agentic economy.
So get ready for one of the biggest changes you'll see. It's the death of the search bar. Seriously, for 2 decades, that little box has been our gateway to the internet, but its days are numbered. As AI assistants get smarter, experts think we could see traditional search traffic drop by a quarter as soon as 2026.
But here's the thing. Not everyone is following the same script. Take Apple. They're playing a completely different game. Instead of building these giant cloud models, they're focusing on super powerful processing right on your device. Their goal is ambient intelligence, a personal assistant that just works everywhere on all your stuff while protecting your privacy. They're betting on locking you in through trust, not just raw power.
And this agentic future goes way beyond our phones.
The big vision here is for AI to become the new fundamental operating system for entire industries. I mean, think about it. In healthcare, an AI that acts as a doctor's tireless assistant. In government, it could automate incredibly complex things like permit processing. This is all about creating autonomous systems that can handle really specific, really important jobs.
So this brings us to the trillion-dollar question, doesn't it? Is all this crazy spending part of a sustainable boom that's going to change the world for the better, or is it a giant infrastructure bubble that's just waiting to pop? Let's walk through 3 possible futures.
Okay, first up, the bull case. This is the super optimistic scenario. Here, AI just ignites this massive productivity supercycle, adding something like $7 trillion to the global economy. Profits go through the roof, which fuels more innovation, and AI infrastructure basically becomes a safe, boring, utility-like investment.
Now, the base case is a bit more moderate. In this future, that explosive growth starts to level off. AI doesn't solve every problem, but it does become the standard way we all work and shop, and the whole market is dominated by a new oligopoly of maybe 4 to 6 huge tech companies.
And then you have the bear case. This is where the bubble pops. The big problem is that the revenue from all these AI services never actually catches up to the insane cost of building the infrastructure. And the biggest bottleneck of all turns out to be power. We literally can't build power plants fast enough to run all the data centers, which leads to a massive market correction.
So let's wrap all of this up. What does this whole new world mean if you're trying to think about it from an investment perspective? How do you even begin to navigate this new reality?
Well, the investment playbook itself is changing. It's not just about buying the shovels in the gold rush anymore, the chip makers like NVIDIA. Now the thinking is diversifying into 2 other huge areas: the power companies that are actually fueling all these data centers, and what you could call the productivity winners, the companies that are actually using AI to crush their competition and boost their own profits.
And that really leaves us with this one final thought. This isn't just another tech race to build a cooler app or a faster chip. This is a fundamental high-stakes race to privatize and to own intelligence itself. So the question isn't just who's going to win, it's what does it mean for the rest of us when they do. That's the real endgame we all need to be thinking about.